Hi Hermits, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dara and today I am going to be doing the Accomplished Woman book tag. So this tag was originally created by Coiny Reads. I will pop a link to the original video in the description box. Please go hop over, leave your support, watch a couple of her videos, hit subscribe because she is one of my very fave creators and well worth your time. Now let me tell you a little bit about this tag. So this tag was inspired by a very specific scene in Pride and Prejudice. Now there is a scene where Mr. Darcy is talking with Miss Bingley and Elizabeth about what makes an accomplished woman, and they have a very specific set of requirements. I'm not going to read the full scene to you now, but if you do want some more context, definitely check out the original video because it does include the full passage. I'm just going to share the prompts with you and I will pop those in the description box too, just in case you want to play along and make your own Accomplished Woman book tag. And I will say you don't have to be an accomplished woman or a woman at all to participate in this. It's simply a bit of fun. It's simply the language that is used in Pride and Prejudice, and that's why it's called this. So let's dive in with the first prompt. Music. Favourite literary musician? That is easy. It has to be Daisy Jones and the Six. And if I have to pick one particular person, obviously I have to pick Daisy Jones because she, in my mind, is basically Stevie Nicks, who I am obsessed with. But I loved the full band, to be quite honest. I thought this was a fantastic book and no other literary musician can measure up so far. If you have any recommendations for books that feature musicians that are even better than Daisy Jones and the Six, then by all means attempt to woo me over to the dark side and leave those ideas below. But I'm not convinced that I will ever find anyone who measures up. Okay, the next prompt is singing, a poetry recommendation. I've read some great poetry over the years. Let me think. I think it always depends who you're recommending things to. If I was recommending something to somebody who was a huge poetry fan already, it would be very different to somebody who just wanted to start getting their toes wet. I think I'm gonna go with Wild Embers by Nikita Gill. This just feels like a very magical poetry collection and it's very beautifully written. It's very, very relatable. And it's something that I really enjoyed. I often find that when you're reading a poetry collection, there will be maybe a small handful that you genuinely enjoy and then the rest will just be okay. But with this collection in particular, I'm pretty sure I loved every single poem and that very rarely happens. So I definitely recommend Wild Embers. Drawing a beautiful cover. That's our next prompt, a beautiful cover. I haven't actually read this book, but Menfreya by Victoria Holt. It's it's obviously very dated. It's this tiny little vintage copy, but I just think it's gorgeous. Okay, next prompt, dancing, a book with a lively plot. A book with a lively plot. Okay, for this prompt, I'm gonna go for Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, not because it is very plot heavy, because it does have a plot, but it's not like an adventure story or a fantasy novel where you have battle scenes and car chases and murders and all of this other stuff. But the writing is magical and creates this sense of pacing that is honestly a pure art form. It just, with the power of words, it does what it needs to do to get you bouncing between feeling calm to feeling afraid to feeling doubtful to feeling questioning to feeling suspenseful to feeling like slightly uneasy and on edge to feeling inquisitive. And it does that just with the power of language. It doesn't need a lot of big dramatic plot points and events to do that. And I think that's a real sign of skill as a writer. So I'm going to go with this one. I know I'm being a little bit of a cheater with that prompt because it's not really a lively plot, but the pacing feels very lively. So I'm going with Rebecca. Next we have modern languages. Favourite translated fiction. I'm torn between two, so I might just tell you about both of them, because these are both two of my favourite books of all time. So first of all, we have Of Love and Shadows by Isabel Allende, translated from the Spanish. This is a Chilean author, and this tells the story of an unnamed South American country that is experiencing unrest, and we have the sort of daughter of a wealthy family who is wanting to be a journalist and is sort of exploring some events that maybe she shouldn't be sticking her nose into. And she meets, I believe the guy she meets is a photographer, who is sort of part of the revolution, and she's exposed to new ideas and new worlds, and they connect in this most magical way, and just the way the story is told is so powerful. I read it in one sitting. I literally stayed in the bath for the whole time I was reading this, because I couldn't even consider putting it down to get out of the bath and finish reading it outside of the bath. I had to stay still and keep reading. It had me in tears. It had my heart growing 3 sizes. It was just wonderful. The other translated book that I absolutely adore is Like Water for Chocolate by Laura Esquivel. And this is, again, translated from Spanish. This is a Mexican author, and it is such a whimsical story about this young woman living in Mexico who is, like, it's been decided that she's going to be the daughter that just stays home and takes care of her parents. But she meets somebody and she is head over heels in love, and she wants to run away and be with him. But ultimately she doesn't. She stays with the family, and it's really about her life following that decision. But it's also interspersed with recipes. So in the story there is magic in the food that she cooks, and those recipes are included in the book itself. And I love any books that center around food, and this is just stunning. I love some magical realism, and that has it too. It's quite a short book, but it's beautiful. It's a masterpiece, so I love both of them. Okay, next prompt. Something in her air and manner of walking. A book with a strong atmosphere. Oh, it has to be this one. Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth. If you turn it around, the first word on the back of the book is atmospheric. Like, it is so atmospheric. It is so atmospheric. This is like 600 pages of pure atmosphere. It is so well crafted. It is eerie, it is creepy, it is dark, it is suspicious. Absolutely Plain Bad Heroines. I feel like I'm just emptying my favourite shelf. Okay, the next prompt. The tone of her voice, her dress and expressions. A book with beautiful writing. Well, I have to pick another favourite, don't I? An Almond for a Parrot by Ray Delaney. This is probably my favourite book of all time. I love this book. It's set in Victorian England and has this thread of magical realism and like gothic drama, and just it is stunning. It is stunning. I want to frame this book. I love it. I want everybody to read it. I feel like nobody else other than me has read this book, and that needs to change, because honestly it is spectacular. I've actually never reread it, because I feel like I need to like save it and savor it. But I think I'm going to reread it this year because honestly, it's beautiful. Like nothing, I've read so many books in my life and nothing has managed to surpass this. And like the plot is amazing, the characters are amazing, the writing itself is beautiful. Honestly, I cannot rave about this enough. It is so good. Improvement of her mind by extensive reading. Your next read. So I'm actually in between books at the moment. So I'm not sure. Do you know what? I'm going to go with the hold that just came in this morning, One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So yeah, that came in through my library app this morning. So let's say that that is going to be my next read. And then like the kind of jokey prompt to finish on, would you be considered accomplished by Caroline Bingley and Mr. Darcy's standards? Well, let's look at these prompts and see. So music, can I play music? Well, I did some like basic piano lessons and cello lessons when I was a kid and wasn't too bad, but it wasn't a passion. However, I did learn how to play Moonlight Shadow on the recorder, so I personally think that is a musical accomplishment. Singing, like no. I do not sing in public, and that is for your well-being, not mine. Drawing, yeah, I can draw. I've always loved art, so I feel like that's a box that I can tick on. Dancing, am I willing to dance? Yes. Do I enjoy dancing? Also yes. Do I have any particular skill in that area? Debatable. Modern languages. I speak fluent Spanish and I understand French. I'm not so great at speaking it back. So yeah. Something in her air and manner of walking. I mean, I can walk in straight lines also. The tone of her voice, her address and expressions. Well, I'm guessing they don't mean do you have a really expressive face and tone of voice? Because I do. That's probably not what a good, well put together young lady has. I'm sure we're supposed to be able to like guard our reactions and appear presentable at all times. So I certainly do not tick that box because you can like read my thoughts on my face at any given moment. Improvement of her mind by extensive reading. Well, I do extensive reading. So I mean, looking at these, if these are the requirements to being an accomplished woman, I am probably halfway there. Yeah, we'll say 50% accomplished for now. Not too bad. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this fun little tag. Like I said, make sure you hop over to Coiny Reads and check out the original video. And I would love if you created one of these too. So if you decide to do the Accomplished Woman book tag, pop a link to your video in my comments and I'll come over and give you some love. Now I'm gonna let you go and have a fabulous rest of your day. But as always, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you feel like it, and I will see you in my next upload.